She disappeared into the fog, but what they didn't know was that Evelyn's disappearance wasn't an act of fear. It was strategy, a plan that could either save them or destroy everything they loved. Welcome back to Hearts at War, where love is never safe and every choice has a price. Adrian stumbled through the forest, rain soaking through his worn clothes, his voice hoarse from calling her name over and over. The dense fog swallowed every sound, every trace of Evelyn. To him, she was gone, but she was far from defeated. Far from the city lights, Evelyn crouched in the damp, musty air of an abandoned cabin. Light from a single candle flickered across her determined face. She pulled out a small, worn satchel, its contents spilling onto the dusty floorboards, a stack of classified files, intricately marked maps, and a burner phone. Her plan was as dangerous as it was brilliant. First, she would leak false information to both warring factions, turning her enemies against each other. Then, she would force them into a conflict so chaotic that it would create a window, a small chance for her and Adrian to escape alive. But the most dangerous part, she had only hours to execute this perfectly before her enemies realized she was not a victim, but a player in their deadly game. Back in the sprawling, rain-slicked city, Adrian was piecing together the terrifying puzzle she had left behind. The cryptic message on his phone wasn't a bluff, it was a warning. "They'll come for both of us," he muttered to himself, the words catching in his throat. A chilling realization washed over him. Evelyn wasn't running out of fear. She was running towards something, a plan so complex and audacious he hadn't even begun to imagine it. He had to find her. He collapsed against the grimy wall of an abandoned alley, the cold seeping into his bones. All this time, he thought he was protecting her. But she was the one holding all the cards, playing a game he didn't even know had started. He whispered into the darkness, his voice raw with desperation, "I can't lose her, not after everything." Memories flooded his mind, vivid and painful. Stolen moments in the shadows of the city, the soft smiles they exchanged when they thought no one was watching, the hesitant touches that spoke more than words, the whispered confessions that bound them together. He finally understood, their love wasn't a weakness, a vulnerability to be exploited. It was a weapon, and she was wielding it. Meanwhile, Evelyn moved like a phantom through the dense undergrowth, the forest floor damp beneath her feet. Her plan was a fragile house of cards, requiring perfect timing, unwavering courage, and absolute trust in Adrian, even though he was completely in the dark. Her heart pounded a frantic rhythm against her ribs, each beat a second lost. The enemy's patrols were everywhere, their searchlights cutting through the trees. Every shadow was a potential threat, every snapping twig a new danger. Yet, a faint smile played on her lips. This wasn't fear she felt, it was strategy. This was control. Adrian, driven by a desperate hope, managed to track her through the series of encrypted messages. She left for him a breadcrumb trail only he could follow. When they finally met at the misty edge of the river, the roaring water was the only sound between them. The silence stretched, thick with unspoken questions and fear. "You shouldn't have done this alone," he said, his voice breathless from the chase, his eyes searching hers for an explanation. "I didn't have a choice," she replied, her gaze fierce and unwavering. "This was the only way to protect us." His hand hovered near hers, the space between them charged with tension. He wanted to trust her completely, to believe in her plan, but the danger felt too real, too close. He could feel the eyes of their enemies on his back. Over the next few critical hours, the plan unfolded with deadly precision. It was a symphony of chaos orchestrated by Evelyn. She fed false intel to both sides through anonymous drops and ghost calls, her voice disguised, her locations untraceable. She expertly led enemy patrols into dead-end ambushes and cleverly disguised traps, turning their own strength against them. Every move was calculated, every risk weighed. While she manipulated the war from the shadows, Adrian became her shield, her protector. He stood guard, fought off patrols that got too close, and covered their tracks, ensuring she had the time and space to weave her intricate web of deception. It was a deadly dance of love and strategy, each of them depending on the other in a way they never had before. At one point, hiding in the suffocating darkness of a forgotten cellar, Adrian finally turned to her. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth and fear. He whispered, his voice barely audible. "Why? Why do you trust me to follow you, even when I know nothing?" Evelyn's eyes, luminous even in the gloom, met his. "Because you've always fought for me," she said, her voice soft but certain. "Even when you didn't know the whole truth. You always chose me for a brief, impossible second. The war, the danger, the entire world outside that small, dark room disappeared. All that mattered was the two of them, two hearts beating as one, caught in a conflict that had no rules, no mercy. But peace is a luxury they couldn't afford." As the first faint light of dawn began to pierce the darkness, filtering through a grimy window of the cabin they'd taken refuge in, Evelyn saw it. A movement, a familiar silhouette standing just at the edge of the woods. A friend, an enemy, or worse, someone they both trusted, now a traitor standing on the precipice of their destruction. Her breath caught in her throat. This was it. The moment her carefully constructed plan could shatter into a million pieces. Adrian, instantly alert, noticed the change in her posture, the sudden tension in her shoulders. "What is it?" he asked, his hand instinctively going to the weapon at his side. Before she could form a reply, a single gunshot rang out, shattering the morning quiet. The bullet slammed into the wall inches from her head, showering them with dust and splinters of wood. The air filled with the acrid smell of gunpowder. In that split second, Adrian grabbed her arm, his grip firm, pulling her down. "We fight together," he said, his voice a low, determined growl. "No more secrets." Evelyn nodded, her heart pounding a frantic drum against her ribs. But as they prepared for the fight, she knew. In the shadows, someone was watching, someone who knew their every move. The war they thought they could control had only just begun. Will Evelyn's desperate plan save them, or will it prove to be their ultimate betrayal? Subscribe to Hearts at War to find out in Episode 5, because in love and war, every choice has a price.